Did you try to sell your home last year and it just didn't work out? Maybe the offers weren't where you needed them. Maybe the timing felt off. Maybe you just got frustrated and said, forget it, I'll wait. If that's you, I want you to know something. You were not alone. A record number of sellers pulled their homes off the market last year. It happened all over the country. But here's what's interesting. According to Redfin, roughly 40% of those sellers have already relisted their homes this year. And that number is growing every single day. I am Ron Siegel, certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. So let's talk about what's happening here, because I think it matters a lot more than people realize. When you pull your home off the market, it's usually not because you changed your mind about selling. Most of the time, life still requires that move. The job transfer is still happening. The kids still need a bigger yard. The empty nesters still want to downsize. The reason for selling did not go away. The market just wasn't cooperating. And last year, that was a real thing. Rates were bouncing around. Buyers were cautious. Some sellers had unrealistic expectations about what their home would fetch. And when reality didn't match, they hit pause. I get it. Nobody wants to feel like they're leaving money on the table. But here's the part that people miss when they pull a listing. When your home sits on the market too long and then disappears, it sends a signal. Buyers notice, agents notice. And when that home comes back, there's a question mark hanging over it. What was wrong with it? Why didn't it sell? That stigma is real, and it can actually cost you more than if you'd adjusted your strategy the first time around. Now, the good news, if you're one of those sellers thinking about jumping back in, the spring market is historically one of the best windows to sell a home. Buyer activity picks up. People want to be settled before summer. Families are making decisions around school calendars. There's an energy in the spring market that you just don't get in November. But here's what I'd tell you. Don't just relist the same way you did before. If the first attempt didn't work, something needs to change. And I'm not necessarily talking about your price, although that might be part of it. I'm talking about your entire approach. Let me give you an example. I had a family reach out to me not long ago. They had their home listed for about 90 days last year. Good home, good neighborhood, reasonable price, but it just sat there. They pulled it off the market in October, frustrated. When they came to me, the first thing we did was look at their exposure strategy. How is the home being marketed? Who is actually seeing it? Were the right buyers even finding out about this property? And in their case, the answer was no. The marketing was thin. The exposure was limited. Once we rebuilt the strategy around getting maximum visibility to the right buyers, things look completely different. That's why I always say selling a home isn't just about putting a sign in the yard and hoping for the best. It's about positioning. It's about making sure your home gets in front of the right buyers who are actually looking for what you have. If you're thinking about relisting, or if you're selling for the first time this spring, I want you to do two things. First, go to rsrlinks.com/salesmax. That's rsrlinks.com/salesmax. That'll walk you through how we approach seller exposure and pricing strategy. And here's something a lot of people don't know. Our real estate partners at Ron Siegel Radio have the option to get every listing promoted on television. On top of that, our ad platform generally gets a home in front of 30 to 50,000 people on social channels in the first 10 days. Think about that for a second. That's not putting a sign in the yard and crossing your fingers. That's putting your home in front of tens of thousands of real estate people fast. If your home sat on the market last time with limited exposure, this is a completely different conversation. Go to rsrlinks.com/HSG. That's rsrlinks.com/HSG. It stands for Home Seller's Guide. Whether this is your first time selling, you're giving it a second shot. This guide lays out the steps you know exactly what to expect and how to prepare. And don't forget, we've got the report card on the agents everywhere within the sound of our voice. Look, 40% of the sellers who pulled their homes last year have already decided to get back in the game. That tells you something. The reason for selling haven't gone away. The spring market is giving people a real opportunity, but this time do it with a plan. Do it with the right strategy. Don't just hope for a different result. Build one. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Thanks for listening to the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com. rsrmoney.com.